Today I stand before you not as a politician, not as a ruler, but as a son of Africa whose duty is to speak the truth even when the truth is dangerous. NATO has declared that Ibrahim Traoré is a threat. They say I am dangerous, but I ask, dangerous to who and dangerous to what? I am not a threat to the poor farmer who works under the sun. I am not a threat to the mother who struggles to feed her children. I am not a threat to the youth who dream of a better tomorrow. I am a threat only to those who built their empire on Africa's chains. I am dangerous only to those who fear the rise of a free Africa. When NATO points at me, they are not really pointing at Traoré. They are pointing at Burkina Faso. They are pointing at Mali. They are pointing at Niger. They are pointing at Congo. They are pointing at Africa. Our resistance has exposed their weakness. Our unity has revealed their fear. Our determination has shown the world that the age of slavery is over. For decades, NATO and its allies promised us peace, yet they brought us war. They promised us development, yet they delivered poverty. They promised us democracy, yet they killed our true leaders. Wherever their boots march, the land is left in ashes. Wherever their planes fly, the sky rains bombs. Wherever their companies arrive, the people are left with empty hands and broken promises. And yet they dare to call us the problem. They say Africa is unstable. They say we are dangerous. But the truth is clear. The problem is not in Ouagadougou. The problem is not in Bamako. The problem is not in Niamey. The problem sits in Washington, in Paris, in Brussels, in London. The problem is not Africa's dream of sovereignty. The problem is the West's refusal to abandon its colonial greed. They do not fear my weapons, they fear my words. They do not fear my army, they fear my vision. They do not fear my power, they fear the awakening of Africa. Because when one nation stands, others will follow. When one youth rises, 1,000 more will rise. When one people refuse to kneel, the whole colonial empire begins to shake. That is why they call me dangerous. That is why they try to silence me. That is why their media paints me as a dictator. But I will never kneel before NATO. I will never bow before the IMF. I will never beg from the World Bank. My duty is not to them. My duty is to the blood of my ancestors. My duty is to the hopes of my people. My duty is to the unborn generations who must inherit a free and sovereign Africa. Yes, they can sanction us. Yes, they can isolate us. Yes, they can even kill me. But they cannot kill this fire. They cannot kill this movement. They cannot kill this Africa that has awakened. Africa is not poor. Burkina Faso is not poor. Mali is not poor. Congo is not poor. We are rich beyond imagination. We have gold. We have uranium. We have cobalt. We have oil. We have diamonds. We have fertile soil. We have water. We have sunlight. Everything the world needs to survive is in Africa. The only reason we are poor is because our wealth is stolen before it reaches our children. Who really depends on who? Does Africa need the West, or does the West depend on Africa? Europe cannot light its homes without Africa's energy. America cannot build its technology without Africa's cobalt and lithium. NATO cannot fuel its wars without Africa's uranium. And yet they make us believe we must beg. The truth is simple. Africa does not need the West. The West needs Africa. But they will not give up easily. They will fight to keep their grip. They will send armies. They will spread propaganda. They will send contracts dressed as charity. They will offer loans that turn into chains. They will send peacekeepers who bring no peace. They will use every weapon, military, economic, and psychological, to keep Africa weak. But their time is over. They cannot enslave a people who have chosen freedom. They cannot silence a generation that has tasted dignity. They cannot stop the tide of history, and history is on our side. Sovereignty is never given. It is taken. No empire abandons its colonies willingly. No exploiter leaves its mines voluntarily. No oppressor gives freedom as a gift. We must fight for it. We must sacrifice for it. We must work for it. Sovereignty requires discipline. It requires unity. It requires courage. And above all, it requires the belief that we can build Africa with our own hands. Our youth are intelligent. Our land is fertile. Our resources are abundant. We have everything we need to build schools, hospitals, industries, armies, and nations. The only thing we lack is unity and self-belief. That is why they fear us. Because the day Africa unites, their empire collapses. To the youth of Africa, I say, rise up. Not just with anger, but with ideas. Not just with fists, but with skills. Not just with slogans, but with action. Build industries. Build farms. Build roads. Build technologies. Do not be the generation that runs to serve foreign masters. Be the generation that stays to build Africa's future. And to NATO, I say, you can call me a threat. You can call me a dictator. You can call me an enemy. But I am proud to be a threat if it means defending my people. I am proud to be dangerous if it means protecting Africa's sovereignty. I am proud to be your nightmare if it means awakening Africa's dream. Africa will no longer kneel. Africa will no longer beg. Africa will no longer apologize for demanding dignity. Our future is not charity. Our future is sovereignty. Our future is justice. Our future is independence. And if that frightens NATO, if that frightens the IMF, if that frightens the West, then let them tremble. Because we are not stopping. We are not surrendering. We are not dying. We are rising. Burkina Faso will resist. Africa will resist. The oppressed will resist. And the day will come when the oppressors kneel before the sovereign. Yes, they may kill me. But for every Traoré they silence, 1,000,000 more will rise. For every leader they assassinate, 100 more will emerge. For every revolution they try to crush, 1,000 more will ignite. This is not the end. This is the beginning. The age of colonial greed is collapsing, and the age of African sovereignty is being born, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters of Africa. I stand before you once more with a heart that refuses to be silent, and a spirit that refuses to be broken. The struggle we began is not a struggle of one day, nor 1 year. It is the struggle of centuries. It is the unfinished fight of our ancestors who resisted chains. It is the cry of our mothers who lost their children to hunger. And it is the dream of our youth who refused to die without dignity. The world must know this truth. We Africans are no longer slaves of anyone. We are not the backyard of Europe. We are not the warehouse of America. We are not the battlefield of NATO. We are Africa. And Africa is rising. They told us we are weak, but weak is the one who cannot stand without stealing from others. They told us we are poor, but poor is the one who cannot live without the resources of others. They told us we are dangerous, but dangerous is the one who bombs nations in the name of peace. Look at history, who divided Africa, who carved our borders with rulers and pens in rooms where no African was present, who assassinated Patrice Lumumba, who killed Thomas Sankara, who destroyed Libya, who keeps Congo bleeding to this day. It was not the people of Africa. It was not the mothers of Burkina Faso. It was not the youth of Niger. It was not the farmers of Mali. It was the West. It was NATO. It was the empire of greed that fears justice. And yet they dare to ask why we resist. We resist because we are tired of burying our children. We resist because we are tired of empty promises. We resist because we are tired of being treated as less than human. We resist because to remain silent now would be to betray the blood of those who came before us. My brothers and sisters, we must remember this. Africa is not a victim. Africa is the heart of the world. Without Africa, there is no Europe. Without Africa, there is no America. Without Africa, there is no NATO. The very planes that bomb us are fueled by our oil. The very phones in their pockets are powered by our cobalt. The very weapons they point at us are built with our uranium. They call us poor, but they know the truth. Without Africa, their world collapses. That is why they tremble when we speak. That is why they shake when we unite. That is why they call us dictators when we refuse to bow. Because they know the day Africa stands on its feet, the empire of exploitation falls to its knees. To the youth of Burkina Faso, to the youth of Mali, to the youth of Niger, to the youth of Congo, I say this: you are not the lost generation. You are the generation of builders. You are the generation of warriors. You are the generation that will complete the work. Our ancestors began. Do not wait for the West to save you. They will never save you. Do not wait for their banks to help you. They will never help you. Do not wait for their armies to protect you. They will never protect you. We must save ourselves. We must build ourselves. We must defend ourselves. This is not just a struggle of weapons. It is a struggle of minds, a struggle of discipline, a struggle of unity. We must educate our children not only to read books but to read history. We must teach them not only to write words but to write their destiny. We must train them not only to use machines but to build machines. We must prepare them not only to fight wars but to build nations. And let no one deceive you. Unity is not a dream. Unity is the most powerful weapon we can build. When Burkina Faso stands with Mali, when Niger stands with Congo, when Ghana stands with Guinea, when Africa stands as one, there is no empire that can stop us. But we must also be honest. Unity will not come from speeches alone. Unity requires sacrifice. Unity requires trust. Unity requires leaders who love their people more than they love power. Because the greatest weapon of NATO is not its tanks. The greatest weapon of the West is not its bombs. Their greatest weapon is division. Fight each other while they steal our gold, they divide our nations, they divide our leaders, they divide our dreams, and then they laugh as we will not fight our brothers. We will not sell our mothers. We will not betray our nations. We will not divide Africa for their benefit. Some ask me, Ibrahim, why do you challenge NATO? Why do you challenge the IMF? Why do you challenge France? Do you not fear their power? I tell them this. I do not fear the empire of greed. I fear only betraying my people. I fear only the judgment of my ancestors. I fear only the eyes of our children when they ask why we stayed silent when we should have risen. Yes, they have their bombs, but we have our people. Yes, they have their armies, but we have our land. Yes, they have their media, but we have our truth. And the truth is stronger than any weapon because the truth cannot be killed. To the people of the world, I say this. Our struggle is your struggle. Do not believe the lies they spread about Africa. Do not believe the media that calls us savages. Do not believe the stories that paint us as backward. Look deeper, and you will see the truth. The truth is that Africa is the foundation of your world. The truth is that without Africa, your nations cannot stand. The truth is that justice for Africa means justice for all. And if they fear that, then let them fear more. Because we will not stop. We will not surrender. We will not kneel. We will not beg. We will not die quietly in the dark. We will rise in the light. Let me tell you what they do not want you to hear. They do not fear my weapons. They fear my words. They do not fear my army. They fear our unity. They do not fear my rule. They fear the end of their rule. They do not fear my life. They fear the millions who will rise after me. Yes, they may assassinate leaders, but they cannot assassinate ideas. Yes, they may silence voices, but they cannot silence history. Yes, they may kill bodies, but they cannot kill the spirit of a free Africa. My brothers and sisters, let us walk with courage. Let us walk with discipline. Let us walk with pride. Let us walk with unity. And when the day comes, when Africa is free, when Africa is strong, when Africa is sovereign, let the world remember that it was not NATO that built it. It was not the IMF that created it. It was not the World Bank that shaped it. It was the people of Africa with their own hands, with their own blood, with their own dreams. So to NATO, I say this: call me a threat if you wish. Call me a dictator. If you wish, call me your enemy. If you wish, I do not seek your approval. I do not beg for your mercy. I do not need your acceptance. What I seek is freedom. What I beg for is justice. What I need is sovereignty. And if that makes me your enemy, then so be it. Because I would rather die as an enemy of oppression than live as a servant of slavery. Brothers and sisters, the fire has been lit. The revolution has begun. The chains are breaking. The empire is falling. and the new Africa is rising. This is our time. This is our destiny. This is our future. We will not kneel. We will not beg. We will not surrender. We will rise, and we will win.